I'm Shane, and today we're going to be trying out our 72-inch landscape rake. A landscape rake is a very specialized tool that's used primarily for picking up rocks and debris in an environment where you're wanting the soil prepped, leveled, and cleaned before planting. Ideally, what you'd like is to pre-till the soil before you rake it with either an S-tine cultivator or a harrow or even a soil conditioner, something to loosen the soil, gently flatten it, level it a little bit, and also to bring those rocks to the top. It just makes it a lot easier for the rake tines to grab and collect those rocks. The way this works is we have 12 tooth bars that are 72 inches long underneath this hood. They are bolted to 3 chains that drive the bars in a orbital motion, slowly grabbing and tilling and picking the debris out of the soil and raking it up into the bucket. The debris can then be carried and dumped off-site or into a container for disposal. The rake bars run at a slow enough speed so that they don't get damaged when they hit something hard. The tooth bar itself is made up of 1 inch by 2 inch rectangular tubing, so it's extremely strong in itself. These tooth bars are bolted to the chain, which means you can change them or flip them as they wear, which is really handy. Some other competitors out there have tooth bars that are welded to the chain. It's much harder to work with. So even though the tooth spacing is 1.5 inches, the adjacent tooth bars are staggered so that they track in between the preceding teeth. So that allows you to actually rake up rocks that are as small as 3/4 inch. The motor is on the left side and uses a chain to drive the top drive shaft. There's a hydraulic valve block on the back side which contains both a check valve and a relief valve. The relief valve is there to stop the operation if something should become lodged in the rake bars themselves. The check valve is there so that you can open the hood when you reverse the flow. So the way you operate a landscape rake is when you have the oil flow in the forward direction, the hood will close with gravity and the rake bars will slowly start to turn. When you reverse the oil direction, that will activate the check valve, which pushes the oil to the opening cylinder, which will pull the hood open and then allow you to dump the debris into the area that you're designated. So structurally, the landscape rake is made up of 2 main parts. There's a bucket on the back side and a hood that contains or shields the rake bars on the front side. The bucket has a backbone that runs a full width, and then there's pivot points on either end that hold the hood in the right orientation. On the edges of the hood here, you'll see we have some plate steel skid shoes. The skid shoes have 3 adjustment positions. Each is about a 1/2 inch difference. Depending on how firm the soil is you're working in, you might want to work those up or down to give you just the right amount of contact with the soil. You don't want to dig so deep that you're actually tilling and moving dirt, and yet you need to engage the soil enough so that you're actually picking and dragging those rocks up into the bucket. So on the bucket itself, you can see that we have a replaceable cutting edge here. It's double bevel. They generally don't wear very much because you're not really doing a lot of scraping and digging with these buckets. This bucket is meant more as a containment vessel. So you're dragging the debris and piling it up into the bucket. But this cutting edge does stiffen and strengthen the bucket edge itself. And of course, if it does wear out with time, it's very easy to change. So one of the features I want to point out on top of the hood is that these 2 springs here are attached to the lift cylinder. What they do is to help relieve some of the weight of the hood from the skid shoes and the tooth bars. The reason that's important is because you don't want your tooth bars digging so aggressively that you're actually pulling in wave after wave of dirt. You want those teeth to just tickle the topsoil and to pick and drag those rocks and debris up into the bucket. So you can adjust this spring if you wish to allow more or less down pressure on the tooth bars themselves. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to check back as we make more videos just like this one. And as always, be sure to give us a call or check out our website if you have any questions.